For you.
She's a girl who wants to heal the world, face the storms, and she had to fight through, but she broke through. She made it, yes, she made it, and so can you. Believe in yourself, no matter what you go through. She made it, and so can you. Yes, she made it. Welcome to the Goldie Drake Show.
Welcome to the Goldie Drake Show, a space where real stories, real healing, and real empowerment come to life. Today I have a special guest. Her name is G'Ana. G'Ana comes from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was raised in a situation that could be difficult for many people. She's here to share her story with us today. She is an actress, a mom, and she does many things to help the community. Welcome, G'Ana.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. So you want to tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. Little bit of background, kind of share with you a little bit my great grandmother, we're talking about on my mom's side. We have roots in not Baton Rouge, Bastrop, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother ended up sending her to Arkansas.
Your mom's mom. Your mom's
My
mom.
mom.
Mm-hmm.
So Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas is where pretty much all my family come from. My mom and I want to say there is where things changed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, from what my mom shared with me, my oldest sister, her dad was the first to put his hands on my mom, and she actually went to jail. And when
Wait a minute, your mom went to jail?
She did.
Your dad put his hands on her, and she went to jail. But I get it.
That word.
Mm-hmm.
And after that's all it took. So she left. She got my sister left and went to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where my mom pretty much started the rest of her family. This is where she met my dad. Mm-hmm. And then here I am. Mm-hmm. Well, that was very short-lived because my daddy was something like a little player. Mm-hmm. And she ended up meeting my stepdad working at a hospital. Mm-hmm. And they ended up getting married. And this is where life would change again. So I was 11 months old when she met my stepfather. Mm-hmm. Not sure how long they were together before they got married, though. But this is where the abuse started with him. So it was abusing me and my other siblings. But me, the ones that were not his blood, we got it worse than his biological child. And of course, my mom, and then he took it too far, the pets too. I was like, I didn't even think Joe Jackson touched the animals. You know, when it came to Mike, and I didn't get all of them. But when I saw my dogs get a whooping, I was like, you know.
So when you say abuse, so he came in, they were dating, and they got married. Mm-hmm. When he came, his children moved in with you all?
No. So to my knowledge, there were no other children that my mom knew of. Mm. My mom and him ended up having a child together. Oh. So, and actually my brother just turned 43 the other day. Mm-hmm. And so that's his biological child. Mm-hmm. So it was my older sister and then me. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then my mom and my stepdad ended up adopting my niece. Mm-hmm. And they adopted another little boy. Mm-hmm. So,
girl, that's a lot to keep up with. Because I thought you said that his children, you all got it worse than his children. And that's why I was asking, did he bring children in the relationship?
No, he didn't bring any over there. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I say that, because we would later discover that he was cheating and he had more children outside of my mom. So, okay. But they had one together. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so how old were you when you started, or as far back as you can remember the abuse starting? It was physical. It was just physical
It
abuse.
was physical and of course verbal.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably when we started acting up, probably about 2, 3, maybe, but probably I'm assuming, but probably for me, I can remember how kindergarten went. So
wow, you remember way back then?
Yeah, my teacher name was Miss Farley. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's crazy because I remember all my teachers' names too. Except for that pre-K, I don't remember, but I remember kindergarten all the way up to like the 7th or 8th. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so wow, so how did that impact you as a child, and you and your sister?
So my sister was 13 years older than me, so I don't know. I'm pretty, I don't know if he ever abused her, and for me, I don't have a lot of memories of because her husband was abusive, and and my mom and family wanted her to leave. She wouldn't because we were raised Kojic. We went to church. We stayed in church all week long. Revivals, we were there. So she didn't believe in that and getting a divorce. So needless to say, she stayed. Her and my mom were actually pregnant at the same time with boys, their first boys. And her husband beat her and kicked her in her stomach. I don't know what she did to deserve that. And she lost that baby. And then my mom was stressing out so bad about what happened to her that my other brother was stillborn, which would have belonged to my stepdad. But what's crazy is, I guess, when women live together, they count everything kind of sync. They got pregnant again at the same time. My mom and my sister. She gave birth to a girl, and my mom gave birth to another boy, which was my brother. And but then something transpired, and needless to say, she died when I was in 1987. I was 7, and their 3-month-old died. So she only had a 3-year-old that survived.
And so, do you recognize like how the abuse started? Like, would it be something that was done, like your mom and dad, they were arguing? Is it something that your mom did that would trigger him? Is it something that the kids would do to trigger him? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what would trigger his abuse. I'm sure that it's all a part of him because of something that he endured when he was younger. You know what I mean? Because it just trickles down. So if you could just tell the audience, and because we're here to help people to get out of situations like this, or to let them know that you're not alone. This happens all the time. What can you say or tell them for them to be able to recognize signs, especially like when you're in a dating stage? Like, because when you're in the dating stage, people are so on their best behavior. You know what I mean? And I just wonder, are there signs like red flags?
There are always red flags. But, a lot of us, including myself, we choose to ignore them. And that's where the problem starts.
Right.
Is when you start ignoring them. So for me, I had low self-esteem. I come from a family of obesity. So I was always a big girl. Then I'm the darkest of the kids. Everybody else is lighter than me. And so I would be treated as the black sheep. So and then you're enduring that abuse, and then you see your mom abuse, then you see your aunts abuse, and you lose your sister to abuse. You get immune to it. It becomes normal. And because for me, I feel like they showed me that love hurt, but you don't go nowhere. Love hurts. And I really believe that in growing up. And so it was normal for me to attract people that were like that. And they showed me, whether they talked to me crazy or flinched at me or threatened me or you hit me once. You already showed me your character. But I stayed because it was a norm for me. Like, I had one person that didn't hit me and I thought something was wrong with him. Like, I was trying to provoke him. Like, what's wrong with you, dude? Right. Like, I would run up on him and everything. Wow. And he was like, what's wrong with you?
Mhm.
But yeah, it was crazy because I thought something was wrong with him.
Mhm.
Because he actually treated me how a woman should have been, but I didn't know what that looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you were young and you started getting into your teenage years and you started dating, like what did that look like for you? Knowing that you come from abusive um environment, what did that look like to you when you started dating?
So just to back up just a tad bit, to introduce the answer to that question. So I'm like, okay, if my mom can't protect us or herself and I can't protect her, who can protect her? So that's when gangs started to rise in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for what I could see
What you
in
mean
my
gang?
era. Gang members.
Oh,
gangs.
gangs. Okay.
And when I saw that, and they were so tough and didn't care. And I was like, oh, they got guns. I was like, they probably can help us because they could probably do something to my stepdaddy because all of us are powerless at this point. Because I think my mama was knocked out and she wasn't moving, so I thought she was dead. And so I like hit him with an ashtray. He backslapped me, and that's when it was over. I was like, okay, so I got involved with the gangs, and it's funny because people who know that was in gangs, a lot of people never ask why. It's because I sought them out for protection, and it worked. Like, yeah, they would literally just come up in my house and and regulate.
Really?
It did. It really did.
And how'd your mom react to that?
What could she say? Really nothing, because I just felt like she seen some sense of relief, but she still didn't leave. So sometimes I made matters worse. But I think they were all fearful of the gang I was associated with. They were Crips. And
we got a Crip here, y'all.
She's still way deep down in there, but now I'm just playing. But now, so my teenage years, I didn't date because I was a gangbanger.
Really?
I was a day. I was puberty. I had all the little bumps I was going through. I wasn't cute. I was, I looked like Cleo on Set It All with the braids and the dickies, and so I didn't even look like a girl. And I was the first female in our gang. And so eventually they were like, "You're gonna have to recruit."
Oh. So
I started, recruiting, other, females. And mind y'all, we had options. Either you're gonna be jumped in or sexed in. I was like, I don't roll like that. So y'all can jump me. So like they took long socks that everybody used to wear back in the day. They put soap. I didn't know it was coming with all that. They put pool balls in there and they lit me up in the drain. When it was like, you better not shed one tear. So I was just crying on the inside. Girl, but it hurt like hell.
What?
But
and how old were you then?
11, 12.
You was that young?
Yeah. I was willing to. I was like, I'm taking this abuse anyway. I might as well take this like a G. And that's actually where the G in G'Ana started. But then, that's also the God in me too.
Right.
But yeah, so from 11 to 14, I was in gangs. So I was really, really rebellious. Doing my thug fizzle, and then I got pregnant.
By one of the gang members?
Yeah. And I wanted to get out of that situation because I was going to be a role model. Because I have a teacher, Mr. Yarborough Middle School, never forget him. He said, if you can lead in a gang and you influence people to do bad things, you can flip that script because they follow you to do things that were good.
That is so powerful.
And I never forgot that when I was in the elevator when I got my confirmation that I was pregnant from my doctor. I said, yeah, I gotta change because somebody gonna be looking up to me. Now, most gang members go get little Crip stuff for the baby, the newborn, and I was not gonna do that. No, your mom and daddy was gang banging, but not you, baby. And so, but getting out ain't always easy. House shot up, all kind of stuff.
Wait a minute, they shot your house up?
Oh yeah, I did. It was a big deal. And
girl, no wonder you were actress because your whole life is just acting, child.
And I was walking home and I was probably about 4 or 5 months pregnant, broad daylight, and they stopped me and surrounded me, and they were all put a gun on me and was like, "Give me one reason."
Wait a minute, but how did you tell them that you wanted to be out of the game?
I just straight told them I got mad. So I'm just like, I'm done. I got a baby, but that's not that easy. And so I was like, okay. So I just started praying. I was like, Lord, just forgive me of my sins because I've done a lot. So if you're going to take me, I want to be able to see you. I don't want to go to hell. But let my baby make it. I'm just praying. And one was like, pull the trigger. And the rest of them, they said they could not bring themselves to kill two people. So I always say yes, out of wedlock, people don't agree with, people, having teens having babies, but my baby saved my life. And I think God allowed that to happen because he knew that I was going to do better, come out of that.
Right.
And so because of him, me being pregnant, they let me make it. And they didn't bother me no more.
And so did you ever see him any times after that, walking up and down the streets or anything?
Of course.
You did?
I did. But now they don't notice me. And funny story. Now the gang task force will come to our high school and they took pictures of all the gang members. So there's a picture somewhere with the gang task force, if they still have it in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they were actually Tulsa police officers. And then they also did security on the side. And so they remember me back then because we all had to take pictures. And so that they would have it, hey, if she's affiliated with them, and and so fast forward in my 30s, I went home to visit, and there was an event at an event center, and I was standing in line. Now they're older, right? And remember, I told you I used to look like a guy, right? So now I'm looking like this, and they was like, "Oh, she's so fine," and I know who they are, but that's how much I transformed. They were all trying to hit on me, didn't have a clue who I was, and I was just laughing so hard. They was like, and it was funny. It was like, "You ain't from here, are you?" I was like, "Yeah, but no," because I had been in Dallas for a while, in Dallas getting home. And when I got my composure, I was like, Officer Blade, I was like, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I had to I said, picture me heavy. Picture me with my hair braided. Picture me in a Dickie suit with blue and orange,
Girl,
braids.
You still got a picture of that. I want to see that myself.
They got it.
They did.
We had them 110 cameras back then, so they don't tell it. But I do got a gangster picture somewhere my cousin sent it to me.
Oh, it is?
And I still got it. That's actually how I booked the role. But anyway, because I sent them that picture and I was like, I used to be about that life. That's how I booked Trap Queens, by the way. And when they thought about it, then I told them my name. They was like, "Get the F out of her." They was like, "No way." I said, "Yes way." So they were shocked. And then
were they still in it? They were still in the gang?
They were retired.
Oh.
These were the gang task force. So it was the actual officers that used to harass us that was trying to holler at me as a grown up. Okay. They didn't recognize who I was because I changed so much.
Right.
And they were floored. When I told them about, what happened with meeting Tyler Perry, being Thursday Morning Mom with Tom Joyner, and just, my story elevating and all of that, they was like, wow.
So back to the domestic violence. Now, did you ever hear your auntie and your mom like talk about it like over the phone or like things that they were going through?
No, I didn't.
You never did. You just witnessed it.
Yeah, I don't think that back then, we had house phones, so they probably didn't because most of the time them husbands was probably around. But I know sometimes they were not around, but I just didn't ever hear them, just talk about it. I just always seen it.
And so your daughter, you got a daughter, right?
I have two.
You have two daughters. And so what is their relationships like? Have they gone through?
So my middle baby is getting ready to turn 17. And my other baby is 20. And we had a conversation in December after I came off of deployment. I was gone a year. And they were like, because I was like, you don't have no friends. Y'all ain't in no relationships. And they were like, Mama, after we seen everything you've been through, we don't want one. And it's sad because that's the picture I painted. Like, even though my mama showed me that, I still wanted to be with somebody. I don't know, maybe it's my self-esteem. I don't know, but I still wanted to be with somebody. But my kids, not my girls, they don't.
They kind of different today, and you know, I think sometimes when you come from an abusive relationship, whether it be domestic violence or you know your parents being on drugs, alcohol, you you grow up looking for love. You know what I mean? We just want somebody to love us for who we are. So I kind of get it, but I know today, the kids today, when I listen to, you know, because I talk a lot about dating and stuff like that. And matter of fact, I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she read my book, so my book was right there. She was reading my book, and she was just saying like some of the things that I have in it that's kind of old school compared to how they're dating now. And I said, yeah, everything is different, but everything is not different. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times what we learned back in the day, even before our grandparents, you know what I mean? The way a man treat a woman, a man open the door, you know what I mean? That stuff should still be. You know, a woman shouldn't have to just open the door herself or carry her bags. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I put that in my book because I feel like that's how it should be, right? And you know, I'm sorry that they don't want to date right now, but you know, eventually I think they will.
I hope so.
They only 17 and 20.
Yeah, and I still talk to them. You know, about that. Of course, my son he'll date, but
of course he will.
But the girl.
How old is the boy?
That's my first baby. He's 31.
Oh yeah, he dating. Yeah. And he not married yet.
No, and I don't have no grandchildren.
Good. Yes.
Oh, I'm good with it.
Sometimes they come later, you know.
Yeah, I'm busy.
So yeah. So what would you want the audience to know as far as people, women and men that deal with domestic violence? Like, what would you want to tell? What kind of advice could you give the audience?
We hear this very often, and some people, this might be your first time hearing it. When somebody show you who they are the first time, believe that. Don't make no excuses. Oh, they just had a bad day. No, they going through this. No, they showed you who they really are, and sometimes they don't show you up front, like you said.
Absolutely.
They be a wolf in sheep's clothing. They get to know you, wine and dine, all that good stuff, and then they no longer can.
What they call it?
I don't know what the young kids
love bombing.
Okay.
They pretend to. Excuse me. They pretend to be what they know you want them to be.
And that's where, and you know what? And we end up feeding them because we start talking about what you like, what you don't like, past relationships, so they can kind of use that to their advantage. Absolutely. So I had to start learning not to give too much because now you kind of using that to lure me in.
Right.
And my problem is I ain't never wait to see how a person really is. I was always jumping into stuff because a lot of it's hereditary. My dad, he did it. My grandma, she did it. We got so many papas and I got so many stepmamas, and it just that gene jump, you know, me and I was saying nothing. Like back in the day, I had a line. And somebody be like, "You still with such and such?" Because if that person mess up, call me, and I call them. Are you with somebody now? Now I'm with them. You know what I'm saying? And not even know people change over time. You might not be the same person I met 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
You know, and then I just moved too fast. I was like, so. I said all that to say this: get to really know a person. You know, back in the day, to say court them. You better court them. They used to say 6 months. You need to court them more than 6 months. Don't be so quick to move in. That be me. Because I always end up, for some reason, I gotta work on this. I always track somebody who ain't got nothing. So I always gotta build a person. And that's my problem too. Everybody is not putting my path for me to be with.
How to say, stop attracting potentials, okay? Because that's all they're gonna be is a potential.
Yeah, so get to know the person. And I would say with this for real, and I'm not being fun, do a background check. Don't just take nobody's word for it. So that stuff is public information, like if they've been locked up and stuff. And I'm like, one time, you know, you can pay a private investigator, and it really cost a lot just to do a general background check. I didn't pay over $50 for it.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, especially if you bringing somebody around your children.
Right.
Because you mess around and now you got the sex offender. You didn't know because you didn't ask or you didn't do the homework.
Right.
And now later on, stuff hits the fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the system is gonna say it's your fault. Mm-hmm. You knew better, regardless if they did it. You didn't do your homework.
And that's the sad part because a lot of people don't know to do that thing, and sometimes people want to love so bad, just like you said, they just ignore the red flags. And even if they don't see any red flags, they still, I believe that too. Like, you have got to do your homework, check the background. Now, I don't know where you can check, but if women can, if you feel like a man is cheating and you get to digging and all this and you start finding all this information, when you with him, do the background before you have to go that far. You know what I mean? Because it can be done. I wish I had known that.
Yeah, so now, I'm older. So yeah, I would do that. I would take the time, to do that because I've been, through some things and was with somebody, and I kind of feel like I just felt like God was punishing me because I wasn't listening. He showed me the red flags. You gave me the gut feelings. You put it in my spirit, and I still ignored you. So now I gotta let you suffer the consequences. And because of that person I was with, my children were taken away from me because of something he did to us, and they still blamed me.
Really?
Yeah, and that's where in counseling where I discovered, we pull back all these layers to see about all these abusive people that I was attracted, and then come to find out that my stepdaddy was abused by his dad, so he didn't know no better. So learn behavior. That's how he knew. When one of my ex-husbands was having a problem with my kids and he went and talked to my stepdaddy, first thing he said was, feed them. He still was saying it till the day he died. Even though they almost took us from my mama. And that's why they got divorced. Because she said, he go or they go. And she was like, I'm not losing my kids, but that was my fault. Mm-hmm. So my mama she blamed me for her losing her husband versus, her being accountable, saying, okay, no, I didn't have to allow him to do that. Because my mama could have very well punished me, sent me to my stepdad to be punished, whatever. But he took it too far, to where I tried to lie about it. My whole face was swollen up on one side. And I was like, oh, I got jumped. And the counselors was like, they didn't believe it. So they started interviewing my friends one by one in the office. Before you know it, they called them folks. Yeah, he did a number on me that day. Mm-hmm. So I tried to save her by lying.
But did he used to beat you with a belt or with his fist?
Everything. At that point, he had because I ran away from home, and I wouldn't tell him where I was. So he put me in the car to drive me around to find out, try to make me show him where I went to for them 1 or 2 days. And he was hitting my head against the dashboard. And then, the edge of a dresser is sharp. He was hitting my head against that. It was like, whatever. So this whole side was swole. And I went to school. My mom didn't want me to, but I was like, Mom, I got tests. I had state tests to take. I think it was Iowa test back then. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll lie about it. And I did to, protect her. But they wasn't buying it. Mm-hmm. And so by the end of the day, them people was at my mama's house. And I wouldn't go home. I went and got my brothers and sisters. We stayed on my friend's house. And I promise you, that next day he was out of there. I don't know where he went to stay, but she had to file, and that was then. They was together 13 years.
And is that when after that she divorced him?
She had to because she would have lost all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so did she date anybody after him that you know of?
She did not. Nope, she didn't want to. After that, she was all about her kids.
Wow. That's amazing. Some of the stories that I hear. I tell you, girl, you think you be the only one that go through stuff and you're not, I'm sorry that you had to go through that as a kid. I mean, but look at you now. She's an actress. Tell her about your acting, girl.
So actually, I started in plays in elementary school. We would put them on for our parents. And that's when I discovered, I like this. I like getting dressed up, learning lines and all that good stuff. And then in the 5th grade, I decided I'm going to write a play. And it was just like about we were getting these new kids at our school every once in a while, and I was like, and nobody would be their friend. They were like from other states. I remember one girl was from Florida. Her name was Angela. Y'all still remember. And this other girl, she was Indian, long, pretty hair to her butt. Her name was Tamissa Dawson. Never forget. No, like they would be on the playground by themselves. Nobody would talk to them. But I'm not. I'm an outgoing counselor. I don't know no stranger, and I didn't want them to feel left out. Mm-hmm. So I made friendships with them, and I was like, it inspired me to write a play. It was called New Kids Just Don't Fit, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like we were in this classroom and we got a new person and we just was so mean to them and bullying them and making fun of them, throwing paper at them. And then basically I get up to stand up for them. And, I give what we didn't know back then was a monologue. And to help give my classmates some act right. Mm-hmm. And then we started treating the new person better. Mm-hmm. And I remember my best friend Dawn at the time, she played the new kid. And when I wrote it, my teacher was like, this is so good, we're going to perform it. I was like, okay, I'm on to that. So middle school, we had one white boy in our whole entire school. Mm. And I was like, all right, a Christmas play. He got to play Santa Claus because he's the only white boy in his school. So I wrote a Christmas play. And then in high school, during Black History Month, I wanted to rewrite The Color Purple because I love The Color Purple to make it funny. Mm-hmm. And so we did a little skit from that. I wrote a play for a church, an Easter play after that. And then, I wanted to go to college for that. But my parents felt like that's not a job. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, okay, I put y'all through so much that I'm going to do what they want me to do. So I went to college for degrees I really didn't want. I knew I got a business.
Let me back up. So how old were you when you had your first child?
I was 15.
Okay, you were 15. Because I was just trying to think, like, wait a minute now. You went to college. Okay, I was just a little confused.
I ended up, when I told you I got some act right, I got scholarships that they would not give to my school. Mm-hmm. But I broke down barriers. So I was able to get those scholarships. I got a full ride to the University of Tulsa, but I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So I went to TCC, Oklahoma State, and University of Phoenix. So I have associates, a bachelor's, and an MBA.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
And I did graduate the valedictorian of my high school.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you on any movies or anything, like on Tubi or anything?
So I'm not on anything on Tubi. However, last year God put me in the right place at the right time and fulfilled one of my dreams. I love crime reenactment shows. Mm-hmm. So TV1 is my channel where I watch Fatal Attraction and For My Man. I've always wanted to be on there. Mm-hmm. And I submitted on Actors Access for Fatal Attraction. I got it because most of the time you got to resemble the person that you're reenacting. So I got it. And they were like, well, we need somebody for My Man the next day. Can you stay? I said, look at God showing out, giving me both my shows. Yeah, I can stay. So that was the first time I had. So my first thing I've done was on a major network.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so those shows premiered last year. Mm-hmm. And then since I've been home, I've been working with independent films and plays. So I've filmed some stuff around there in post-production. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting, and then, we got to wait to see what platform they're going to come out. But to answer your question, I've been in things on Tubi, but I'm in the background. So you don't see me.
Mm-hmm. So you've been working consistently on, in your acting career.
Since 2021, when I got my first background opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I wanted to see if this is really what I want. I'm going to start here. Mm-hmm. Then I'll eventually get to a speaking role where I got a couple of lines. Right. So I did that. Mm-hmm. So now I'm like, okay, I want more supporting roles. And eventually I would like a lead role where I'm the main character.
Now, are you the lead role? Because her and I, we have been talking. She has helped me with some connections. Are you the main character in Trayvion's new play in his movie?
So after Mama Shadow started out as a stage play, but we needed to push it back to change some logistics about it. Mm-hmm. And so, but he had already had a film version. So he decided, you know what, we're going to move to the film version and then we're going to do the play next year. Mm-hmm. So we moved on. So yes, I am one of the main characters, which is Mama Laverne.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know, and you know what, he sent me the script. So I've been kind of like looking at that. But I didn't know that you were playing Laverne. So that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait, and I thank you for the connections. Helping me because it's something that I wanted to do when I was a little girl. I mean, I actually went to school. I used to go to school in New York. My mom used to send me to little classes, little acting classes. When I was small.
Oh,
I was in the H4 club, where we grew up at, and I was on TV. That was the first time I was on TV as a little girl. I had to take some, remember the little black pebble things? Somehow or another, I took them and made them into like a waterfall. And they put it on.
Oh, okay, I remember those.
But yeah, that is awesome. I'm so happy for you.
So yeah, this year I got so much book. So we're going to start filming that in August. I'm actually getting ready to head to Houston tomorrow to film for a miniseries called Made It Worse. I'll play a news reporter. And then after that, I will be playing a cop. So I'm playing all these roles that I want to play because I want to be the police. I love Olivia Benson on Law and Order. Like, that is one of my roles that I really want, especially to be a Black woman in power.
How do you navigate being an actress and working income wise to keep your household together?
So I have been in the insurance claim business since 2008. I started with disability, and then when Hurricane Harvey hit, I had lost my job because they started outsourcing to India. I was there for 10 years, and I was introduced to independent claims adjusting, and that's been my life for the last couple of years. Katrina did something to me internally to where I was like, I didn't like to see my people suffer like that. And I was like, I can do more, Lord. Show me what I can do. And I love to serve. And so he opened up that door for me. But I also love to teach. I've always wanted to be a teacher. I actually started out in elementary education. But baby, I can't do them kids. So, and because God knows, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. Right. So, yeah, I'll fight a kid. So therefore, the Lord didn't let me be a teacher. So, but he did allow me to have my own school. So I teach adjusters. The licensing.
I thought I saw something.
Yes, I've had my own school for a couple of years now. And so you come through me to get licensed and get your continuing education credits, mentorship. And I'm passionate about that because us minorities didn't know about this field. It's been a hidden gem that pays very well.
How long is the class?
It is 3 days and an exam. All you gotta be is 18 and older and pass the exam. And I meet you at every level. I know some people that finish school, got a GED. I meet you there. Because again, I was from the street. I got family that has learning disabilities. So I know how to meet you there. I'm gonna get you through this, and I'm passionate about making you successful. And I have a lot of success stories that's come out of my school. I haven't had a big class ever, but I won't give up though, because I know one day God's gonna give it to me.
How do they get customers?
So this is how it is. So we get on independent adjusting firms rosters. So I give them a list at the end of a class once upon they pass. I give them the whole blueprint. This is what you got to connect. So when we get on these rosters, they have our information, they have our licenses, our certification. This is where you get your trainings from. And then they have contracts with insurance carriers like State Farm, Allstate, Progressive. Okay, so when, say, we get a hurricane, and usually staff adjusters train for months. We ain't got time for that. These people need us right now. Right. So that's where independent adjusters come in. We're contractors. And in the field, if we have a level 4 or 5 hurricane, a field property adjuster can make 6 figures a month with the right carrier. Now they're gonna put in a lot of work. But baby, I said when you need some motivation, want to give up, I tell everybody always go look at your bank account and get some inspiration. And even as a desk adjuster, we work at home, we work in the office. You work all year long, you can make 6 figures. And you ain't even had to go to school for this, like, college. And so I tell it everywhere I go. Right. I was like, to wake up and be like, oh, they had to flag the IRS because I made over $10,000 legal dollars in my bank account. I never thought I could live that life. And then depending on how long we're deployed, if you save your money right, a lot of people pay off stuff, invest. They make the money work for them.
Right.
So when I'm not deployed and I got money saved, I can live the lifestyle I want, and I don't have to work, and I can focus on acting. Right. I go get my headshots done. I invest in classes and can take advantage of opportunities, and so that's how I've been able, to do that. Now, I can tell you sometimes we don't get no work and it's hard and we struggle. I've struggled too, because sometimes you're not in a predicament to say.
Right.
And I have lost, but I've won more than I've lost in this industry. Last year we didn't have anything, but I was deployed with the government. So I decided to find another stream of income to help serve, and is with the government. And so when the government reaches out to me on my government phone, then G'Ana gone. So now I'm certain. Then I work in logistics. So I believe it or not, y'all, I drive forklifts, government vehicles. I do shipping and receiving. I make sure every unit where the survivors come has everything it needs to do to operate. That's what I do. So we work hand in hand with the military and all that good stuff. So I make stuff move. I make stuff happen.
That is awesome, girl. I'm glad to know you. Okay. I believe this connection is happened for a reason. I really
yes,
do.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I want to thank you for coming and sharing your story with us. And I pray that the audience got something out of this. She's a blessing. She is a blessing. And if her story touched you anyway, leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe to the Goldie Drake Show, and let's again say thank you to G'Ana. I'm so glad. Oh, wait a minute. I always forget this part. I made you a t-shirt.
No.
And this one is keep you inspired.
All the time. You know what is amazing about shirts? I like to wear inspirational shirts. And I was walking in Kroger one day, and the worker, he broke down in the parking lot. Like he was looking for an answer. And I came at the right time. And whatever my shirt said, it spoke to him. And he just broke down and was like, I hear you, Lord. Thank you.
That's what I tell people all the time. I don't know if you've ever been to my website, mslimerch.com. I make inspirational and empowering t-shirts. And it is powerful when somebody walk past you and be like, you know what? I really love that t-shirt. That t-shirt made my day. The words on the t-shirt made my day. Yeah. So that's what I do. So I'm going to give you my website so you can go and look at some of the t-shirts and, spread the word. All right. Well, thank you so much again for coming. And
thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure getting to know you and just talking to you on the phone, and I'm sure that we will be seeing each other again.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you on the next Goldie Drake Show.
Bye, guys.
She's a girl who wants to heal the world, face the storms, and she had to fight through, but she broke through. She made it, yes, she made it, and so can you.